A mysterious young leader, hidden from the public for years, suddenly rises to power in one of the world's most secretive nations. Groomed in the shadows, shaped by military elites, and compared to a grandfather he never met, Kim Jong-un's journey to absolute rule was no accident. But how did an inexperienced heir silence his doubters, eliminate his rivals, and tighten his grip on a nuclear-armed state? This is the untold story of how North Korea's next supreme leader was forged in secrecy and unleashed upon the world. Groomed for power. Return to North Korea. Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, was carefully groomed for power under the strict guidance of his father, Kim Jong-il. His journey to leadership was not accidental, but a well-planned process that combined military, political, and ideological training. Kim Jong-il, who ruled from 1994 to 2011, ensured that his successor was fully prepared to maintain the totalitarian regime and the Juche ideology. Kim Jong-un's early years were marked by secrecy, privilege, and careful isolation, ensuring that he remained untouched by outside influences that could challenge the rigid North Korean system. His teenage years, military training, and gradual introduction into politics were all part of a carefully orchestrated succession plan to solidify his authority after his father's death. Teenage years in North Korea. Kim Jong-un was reportedly born on January 8, 1983 or 1984. North Korean official records claim 1982 to match the birth years of his grandfather, Kim Il-sung. He was the third and youngest known son of Kim Jong-il and Ko Yong-hui, a former dancer of Japanese-Korean descent who was one of Kim Jong-il's favored consorts. Privileged upbringing in Pyongyang. Unlike most North Korean children, Kim Jong-un grew up in an elite compound surrounded by luxury, with access to foreign goods, private tutors, and entertainment that ordinary citizens could never dream of. He lived in one of the highly restricted palaces in Pyongyang, away from the public eye, and was closely guarded by security forces. His mother, Ko Yong-hui, reportedly referred to him as the Morning Star King, suggesting early ambitions for leadership. Education in Switzerland, 1996 to 2001. In the mid-1990s, Kim Jong-un and his older brother, Kim Jong-chol, were sent abroad for schooling under false identities to avoid global attention. He attended the International School of Bern in Switzerland, where he was enrolled as the son of a North Korean diplomat. Despite his secretive identity, classmates recalled that he was passionate about basketball, particularly admiring Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. While he was exposed to Western culture, technology, and education, his handlers closely monitored his activities to prevent ideological contamination. Personality and interests in youth. Unlike his introverted older brother Kim Jong-chul, who was seen as too soft for leadership, Kim Jong-un was described as more aggressive, ambitious, and hot-tempered. He was deeply fascinated by military history, particularly the tactics of famous dictators and war strategists. He reportedly idolized his grandfather, Kim Il-sung, and sought to model himself after him in appearance and leadership style. Return to North Korea in isolation. Early 2000, after in Switzerland, Kim Jong-un returned to North Korea in the early 2000s and was immediately placed in a controlled environment. His foreign experiences were not publicly discussed, and he was isolated from the public, ensuring that he remained fully committed to North Korea's ideology. He enrolled in the Kim Il-sung Military University, where he studied military tactics, leadership, and state governance under top North Korean generals. Military and political training under Kim Jong-il. In the mid-2000s, Kim Jong-il began the process of grooming his successor as his health started deteriorating due to diabetes and heart problems. He initially favored his eldest son, Kim Jong-nam, but after Kim Jong-nam's embarrassing attempt to enter Japan with a fake passport in 2001, he was disgraced and exiled. Kim Jong-chul, the second son, was considered too soft and passive for leadership, leaving Kim Jong-un as the preferred choice. Kim Jong-il then accelerated his grooming, ensuring he was fully prepared to take over the regime. One military leadership training in 2007, Kim Jong-un began working closely with the North Korean military, attending high-level meetings and military exercises. He was trained by top generals and was introduced to war strategy, nuclear deterrence, and national security tactics. By 2009, he was regularly appearing at military inspections, despite having no real combat experience. #2. Appointments to high-ranking positions. In 2010, Kim Jong-un was suddenly promoted to the rank of 4-star general in the Korean People's Army, despite never having served in active military duty. He was also named vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, giving him influence over North Korea's powerful army. This move signaled that Kim Jong-il was making final preparations for his son's takeover. #3. Strengthening his public image. As Kim Jong-il's health deteriorated, the North Korean regime accelerated efforts to establish Kim Jong-un as the rightful successor. Since he had little military or political experience, state propaganda played a crucial role in shaping his image as a strong, capable, and charismatic leader, similar to his grandfather, Kim Il-sung, portraying him as a military genius. Despite having no real battlefield experience, North Korean propaganda emphasized Kim Jong-un's strategic mind and leadership abilities. He was frequently shown inspecting military bases, observing missile tests, and interacting with soldiers, creating the impression of an active and engaged commander. His early promotions to top military positions, such as vice chairman of the Central Military Commission and 4-star general, were designed to legitimize his authority within the Korean People's Army, KPA, emphasizing his resemblance to Kim Il-sung. To strengthen the idea of dynastic continuity, Kim Jong-un's physical resemblance to his grandfather was emphasized. He gained significant weight, mirroring Kim Il-sung's stocky figure, and adopted his hairstyle, clothing choices, and mannerisms. Official portraits, posters, and state media highlighted these similarities, reinforcing the idea that Kim Jong-un was the natural heir to the nation's founding leader. Cultivating a new title, the Young General, to further solidify his military credentials, the regime began referring to him as the Young General, appealing to both the military and the general public. Songs, poems, and official slogans were dedicated to his bravery and wisdom, despite his lack of real-world leadership experience. High-ranking military officers and government officials were required to publicly pledge their loyalty to him, ensuring internal support. By 2011, these efforts had successfully positioned Kim Jong-un as the undisputed successor, ensuring that when his father passed away, there would be no serious challenges to his rule. #4. Kim Jong-il's death and transfer of power, 2011. On December 17, 2011, Kim Jong-il suffered a fatal heart attack, marking the end of his 17-year rule and triggering the transition of power to Kim Jong-un. His death was announced 2 days later on state television, where a visibly emotional news anchor informed the nation that the dear leader had passed away while traveling on his train. Immediate succession and supreme leadership. Within hours of the announcement, Kim Jong-un was declared the new supreme leader, inheriting all major state positions: Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, Chairman of the National Defense Commission, the highest governing body in North Korea at the time, First Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea. Despite his young age and limited experience, he was immediately positioned as the rightful heir, following the Kim dynasty's tradition of absolute rule. Doubts and speculation about his rule. Many Western analysts and even some North Korean insiders questioned Kim Jong-un's ability to govern, believing he lacked the experience to maintain control. There were rumors that senior figures within the military and government might attempt to sideline or manipulate him. Some experts speculated that Kim Jong-un would act as a figurehead, while real power would be exercised by his uncle Jang Song-taek and other senior officials. Rapid power consolidation and eliminating rivals. However, Kim Jong-un quickly proved his ability to rule by taking swift and ruthless action against potential threats. Within his first year in power, he launched a series of purges, eliminating those who questioned his leadership or posed a challenge. His most high-profile purge came in 2013, when he ordered the execution of his own uncle, Jang Song-thaek, who had been a key figure in the government. Over the years, he continued to eliminate rivals through purges, arrests, and even assassinations, including the 2017 assassination of his half-brother Kim Jong-nam in Malaysia. By 2012, it was clear that Kim Jong-un was not a weak or puppet leader, but a ruthless and calculating ruler, determined to secure his family's grip on power. Conclusion: from grooming to supreme leadership. Kim Jong-un's return to North Korea was not just about preparing for leadership. It was about ensuring the continuity of the Kim dynasty in a nation built on absolute authoritarian rule. His father, Kim Jong-il, carefully orchestrated his rise, embedding him into North Korea's military, government, and propaganda machine long before his death. When he officially took over in 2011, Kim Jong-un had already secured key alliances with the military and government, allowing him to maintain unquestioned control over the country. Despite initial doubts, he swiftly eliminated threats, strengthened his grip on power, and had advanced North Korea's nuclear program, proving himself to be a ruthless and strategic leader. Under his rule, North Korea has continued its path of isolation, military buildup, and strict authoritarianism, ensuring that his leadership remains unchallenged. His rise to power was not just a succession, it was a calculated transition, ensuring that the Kim dynasty remains at the heart of North Korea's political system for years to come.